Welcome to the Barbershare FC, man. We are the new footy division of the network, and we are introducing the homies to the team, man. We got Tosin here, and all of the Shirtless Plantain Show crew will be joining us here on the network each and every week. You got the Shirtless Plantain Show. You've also got the Arsenal edition as well. The weekend recap will be up on all your feeds, and as soon as I wrap the show up, we're gonna upload all that stuff on there. And yeah, man. So Tosin, man, glad to have you officially in the family, to have y'all on here, man. So glad we were able to get this going.
Yeah, it's like signing the death row.
Yeah. except I don't have felonies like should. Yeah, and I don't beat niggas up on Wilshire Boulevard in front of people. But
all blue cars.
You know, it's first time when I first saw the actual death row officers, I was driving down Wilshire in Beverly Hills, and I always had these Uber drivers who were like ex-gang members or niggas who used to work for Suge. And I don't know, I had a death row shirt. So the hundreds did this death row line. This is probably like 10 years ago, whatever. So I had me a long sleeve death row shirt on, had the death row logo on the back. So I get in the car, he's like, "So you a death row music?" I'm like, "Yeah, you know, Tupac, Snoop, Dre, whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I used to work for them niggas." I was like, "Word?" He's like, "Yeah, you want me to show you where the office at? We coming up on it." I was like, "Yeah." So we driving down Wilshire, and it's just a regular building now, like in front of everybody. He said, "Yeah, Suge used to make us bring niggas up, and we beat them downstairs. They wasn't with it." And I was like, "These are wild stories I'm hearing." I'm like, in front of all these people, there was like people just walk past. Like, what was they gonna do? So that was just a hilarious story of seeing where the actual death row building. It's across the street from a Starbucks now. If you want to know how much has changed since the 90s, man. But lot to talk about on this edition of the show, man. But we gotta start with South London's own Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace won their first trophy in 146 years of existence, winning the FA Cup by beating Man City. Man City, who has dominated the Premier League for like the last 7-8 years. They've won pretty much every piece of European silverware you can own, but it did not happen. They were not awarded for the bum season that they've been having. Crystal Palace had a great game. Should have been honestly a 2-0 game to me, but they won this one. Like you were saying in the first time, man, you from South London. Tell me what it was like watching this team, what you feel about this team, and just how this run has been to get this FA Cup.
I really, really like Oliver Glasner as a coach. He came from Frankfurt, where he won Europa League with Frankfurt, and him joining Crystal Palace for me was like, yo, that's a bit of a weird transfer, but that's a great get for Crystal Palace. And I remember early in the season, they were talking about firing him, and it's just like, it goes to show you that sometimes you got to stick with your coaches, man. You got to stick with your guns and just know that things are going to course correct. They did a really good job of rebuilding on Michael Elise, who to me is one of the best players in the world. So they lost him in the summer. So for them to continue on, and Eze deserves this. I mean, I think that Eze is a continuation of what Crystal Palace is about, what they're about, being a very local club and taking care of your own. And you get your own little individual superstars. They had Ian Wright back in the 90s. Wilfred Zaha was also there as well, like their cult hero. So Eze is the next one, and he deserves a goal. And I'm just happy for him. I'm coming from that area of South London. Like, there's a lot of people in South London who aren't OG Crystal Palace fans, but there are people who are fans of other clubs, but they're fans of this, South London itself. So it's big for the community back home. I'm sure everybody's going to be going to that parade, trying to figure out how to get there. So it's nice. And what it does for me is like, it shows that like football has grown a lot, where you can have a team like Crystal Palace finally win something, because they deserve it, man. They've been through 146 years without a title. So it's fine. I'm very, very happy for him.
Any fan base that goes on that long without any type of championship, I believe, deserves it. And it shows just like you saying, the I guess like the current state of football right now. We even had earlier this season, Newcastle winning the Carabao Cup. That's their first trophy in 70 years. And now they're going to be playing Champions League football again. Now, of course, Crystal Palace won't be playing, but at least they'd be into the Europa League next year. So I think, it was – go ahead.
Which is crazy to have like Crystal Palace like 10 years ago were trying to fight to get into the Premier League, and now they got hosting European nights. That's massive. Like I know a lot of people look at Europa League as like a second tier tournament, but it doesn't matter. Like that shit is what makes the fans happy. And that's another thing too, is like seeing all these fans happy, like older Crystal Palace fans, young Crystal Palace fans, like everybody's happy. That's the most beautiful thing about it. It's just like this is literally what community looks like. It literally was community that looks like.
And I like you brought up the Ian Wright thing, because of course we all know Ian Wright is, Arsenal legend, but he started off Chris Palace gave him his first shot. I saw that documentary.
You saw his story, right? How he was playing Sunday League football.
Yeah. I saw the documentary on him and David Rocastle. So Rocky Rocastle, my bad. And just how they grew up together, and like he said he was running to Crystal Palace because he was trying to thought he was late to get up there, and just see his story and to see like the pride he took in watching that team win. And one thing I do love about the sport compared to other sports is, you might not win the Premier League, you might not win Champions League, but there's still ways for you to have a successful season, especially for like the teams like, Crystal Palace, they don't have the money to be in the Big Six or, be competing for these spots that I want to say as a member of Arsenal fan that we take for granted. Is what I paid attention to these last couple months. They love these kind of moments, man. So I thought that was dope. Let's talk about Man City here though, because I obviously missed out on a championship run, and from highlights and watching some of their documentaries, it looked like it was more exciting brand of football. This brand of football they've been playing, they were boring me to death. Like it's just there was certain stuff about it. Pep, he looks like, to me, it looks like his heart's not in it anymore. Like he really looks like he needs a break. He showed up to the game in the same shirt that I had on Saturday. Like he was making a run to the store, him getting into it with the goalkeeper after the game, and he just looked overall frustrated. And not even playing some of the guys who he won championships with. Jack Grealish, $105 million pounds, whatever he's making on the bench, and using some of these younger guys and some of the older guys he got. Now looking at Haaland, looks like he mentally checked out. Like we heard rumors about him wanting to go to Barcelona next year. It looked like he ain't even that. When I saw him not even take the penalty kick, I was like, okay, what's going on here? So where do you think they go from here? Because they've had retools before, but they always had some of the championship guys with them.
I think, like we said yesterday in the podcast, it's Father Time, man. Father Time's undefeated. As great as Pep Guardiola has been, sometimes like you got to take a break. Like your body's not a machine. You got to take a break. I think mentally Pep's checked out. I also think City are in a weird phase where like they have young talent, but they need to like migrate that young talent with the older talent. It's a weird place. Like KDB's leaving, Gundogan is on his last legs, Bernardo Silva's turning bald and like slow, and it's just like they're in this just weird phase, and I'm happy to see it because long may they continue to suffer in Jesus' name, amen. But all jokes aside, it's just one of these things where like you see projects come to life and projects go to die. It's just that's why I say to me, and I love Pep Guardiola. I think he's one of the best coaches in any sport. That's why I think Sir Alex is the greatest coach ever, because he knew when to upgrade players. Like letting David Beckham go was crazy, so he's always known when to phase people out. And I think City at that place now where they're struggling to like rebuild while they're still trying to compete at the same time.
Yeah, they put out something that came out this morning. I saw they said they're taking their name out of running for some player, and I was like, yeah, I speak PR. That means you got turned down.
It was never gonna happen. Verse is always gonna go to Munich. Like he's a German. He's like one of the best German players. And what Germany does is tradition. They keep their superstars at home. That's why what's it called? Jamal Musiala is not going nowhere. That's why Jamal Musiala got death row contract. You're stuck at Munich for life.
He's done it now. He's never leaving.
Yeah. So Verts going to Bayern Munich is one of those things where it's just like, hey man, it is what it is. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, and we talk about like the outcome of that. Well, now Manchester City, they're looking at not just going trophyless, but maybe missing a chance of making the Champions League. And we're gonna bring up these standings here real quick for the Premier League, man. So one thing I was very happy about us winning yesterday was I didn't want this shit to come down to the last week. Like it's already been, Arsenal's been getting destroyed on the internet since the PSG loss. Last thing I wanted was, oh, you got beat out by Nottingham Forest. Y'all ain't even going to have European nights there. I didn't want that. So I'm glad. Thank God for Declan Rice for them winning that game. But you got Newcastle right here with 66 points. Chelsea with 66 points. Aston Villa was 66. Man City was 65. And Nottingham Forest was 65. How do you think that the spots 3 through 5 are going to play out? And I know we got some of the games here as well from this weekend. So you got all the different games right here that's going to be going on. And I think it's going to be like an NFL thing where all these games going to be going on at the same time. So tell me what you think about this weekend and who you think is going to get these final spots.
The hater in me really wants to see Chelsea and City miss out on Champions League so bad. Like, I want Chelsea to finish 6th and City finish 7th. But I know logically, like, City plays against Fulham. That's going to be a tough game for them. Fulham's going to try and, battle them. United, depending on what happens and when they're going to be drunk, a good drunk or a bad drunk. So Aston Villa probably got that with Trafford. But yeah, it's just, I can't call it right now. I generally can't because I don't know what players' moods are. I feel like the last month, players have all been checked out. And that's why, like, I don't really that's why when people are on the timeline say, oh, try, like, most of these players are already looking up where they're gonna go be like after Sunday. Like, which island am I going to? Which American city am I going to? Am I gonna be in Vegas? Am I gonna be in Miami? Am I gonna be in Atlanta? Like, where am I gonna be? That's what players are right now. They've been doing that itinerary for a while. So I don't know who's gonna show up on Sunday. There might be some random academy kid who's trying to prove a point. So I can't really call it. But the real hater in me wants to see Man United finish 17th, win Europa League, and Chelsea and City don't get anything. That, to me, would be a great way to end the season. That'd be an amazing way to end the season for me.
My hate watch is purely on Chelsea. I don't want them to make it because, I'm slowly gaining disdain for certain clubs. And Chelsea's one of them. Like, they have a very talkative, but at the same time, swaggerless fan base that I just like, okay, like, y'all over here, being happy about the Europa League is one thing, but the other conference thing, stuff, like, have some shame, okay? Especially for a big club with a history that Chelsea has. Have some shame. And I'm just honestly tired of all the rebuttal coming Arsenal's way for us finishing second. And despite all the reasons for it sounds like excuses, but I don't care what sport it is. I know we've been talking about this all weekend. I don't care what sport. 27 injuries is nuts for any league. Like, I can see an injury, somebody missed a week or two. That happens in sports. Like, but 27 injuries is nuts. I'm
gonna give you a fun factoid about Chelsea and why I don't respect Chelsea. And like I said, Romans saved their lives because if it wasn't for Roman, this club would not exist. In 1982, Tottenham was sold Lily for £1 because their finances were that bad. Like, they've been
crazy.
Yeah, like, they've literally just been a joke to me most of my football career, most of my football life. And 2004, they got bought by some Russians, and they're like the broke kid who won the lottery. That's what they are. Them and Man City. That's what they are. So I don't really take anything both their fan bases say seriously. I'm just like, I don't really care enough. And I know, they're big clubs now and they're, they got standards or whatever, but I know what you are. I know exactly what you are. So
and I'm with that with Man City too, where, like, I don't feel from the year they should be able to sneak into the Champions League. So, like, I want to see Fulham knock them off as well, man. Let's talk about your squad, Manchester United, man. You put out a tweet a couple days ago. We like, man, I don't know if you're a United fan right now, you ain't gripping reality of what's going on, you need to accept it. What game were you watching when it happened? Like, what do you really feel about the history? How much is on the line in these next 48 hours for United?
I was watching Chelsea, and there was a play where Rasmus Højlund, like, turned, and instead of shooting, he was dilly-dallying around the box, and then Chelsea countered. A lot of Chelsea's best chances came from his poor touches and him falling over the floor. And the next day on Saturday, I see Man United fans talking about why can't our striker do this? Like, when Mateta held up the bar, I'm just like, that's the problem. Is like, United fans have lied to themselves for so long about the state of this club. With like, we shouldn't be 17th. We should at least not, be, top 10. I'm like, no, the squad is not good enough to be top 10. You have a striker who's ineffective. You have a goalkeeper who decides what day he wants to do things. You have a bunch of players who want to play in a way that happened 3 years ago, and the coach wants to go this way. So people are not understanding, like, it's so many bad concoctions. And the coach is a good coach, because I remember a few months ago, Jamie Carragher was telling Casemiro to leave before the football leaves him, and Casemiro is one of the best players in the team now. So it's one of these things where I think that fans cannot, and it goes for every sport. I think every single fan base lies to themselves about the state of their team, because nobody really wants to be real about how bad their team is. No, this is a terrible Manchester United squad, the worst I've ever seen in my life, where I don't know who's going to score. I don't know who's going to play a good pass. I don't know who's going to do something. It all depends on the day. So there are some good players on this team, but the majority of this team is not of the standard. So when we're finishing 16th, 17th, it's not because it's a bad squad. It's because it's a shit squad and a terrible job of recruitment. So Man United have never really done a real rebuild. They haven't really knocked down the structure properly. I think that the problem is now that, like, this is the first time United fans are doing a rebuild, like an actual one where you got to cut like 10 different players from the team, and they can't stomach that. They can't accept the fact that your team is shit. And this is something I want to talk about Arsenal in relation to this. When I see people who laugh at Mikel Arteta for not winning the title, I'm like, I know what Arsenal were before he was hired, how bad Arsenal was, and how he came in to reset the culture. He came in and made this team relevant in sports. He made this team culturally aware of what they are. Arsenal now consistently top 4 team, and that's what a proper rebuild does. Is like, you're competitive, right? You might not win everything, but you're competitive. United not competitive. And that's why you need a cultural reset and a culture rebuild and the whole entire squad rebuild. So that's my thing of saying United fans have the stomach for it. As far as Wednesday, it doesn't change anything for me, win or lose, because even if we lose, we still got to rebuild. If we win, we rebuild happy. We lose, we rebuild sad. So it doesn't change anything for me. It's just, don't lose to Tottenham. That's the only thing I want. I don't care what you do. Just
don't lose to Tottenham. Like I said, the number one thing I was told when I was picking who my club was going to be, well, I'd say every person I talked to said, don't pick Tottenham. Every person, literally, that was the only take I've gotten that was consistent across the board. Don't go Tottenham. Now, we're coming up. It's the last weekend. So that means that we real close to the transfer window opening up. Now, there's already been some announcements that's happening. This one was broken today. Even though it's not official, United and
Cunha
club is. They still got to get on a call together and get together. But Matheus Cunha, that's how you pronounce his name?
Cunha.
He is set to join Manchester United as soon as the season is over. What do you think about this potential signing? You said that no matter what happens, you feel that this should be a rebuild. Is this a rebuild type player to you, or do you think that they're still ignoring the fact they have to rebuild?
Oh, he is. That's the sort of player Man United need to get. Man United just need to get. You really, what Man United's rebuild is, go get good players. That's it. I don't care what position it is. They have to be good at football. That's the bare minimum. Is, are they good at the sport? Yes or no? And Cunha is really good. He plays in the same system in a 3-5-2 or 3, however you want to shape it. He's one of the 10s at Wolves. And he has scored 16, 17 goals this season. He's somebody who can physically handle the Premier League. He's somebody who's an adult in the room. He's 25, 26, around there, somewhere around that age, 24, 25, 26. And he understands the league. He's a Brazilian guy who actually has done well in England, because most times Brazilians do not thrive in England. And he's a bit of a psychopath. He's one of those adults in the room, which is what Man United need. And he's not a coward. He's not going to be under pressure because of fan base. He talks shit to Wolves fan every single week. They fall in love and fall in love each week. So he's that sort of player where, like, I'm like, that's step one. Okay, and now who are you gonna get for your striker? You're gonna get for your other 10. Like, you're starting to see United just get good players where it doesn't matter what system you're playing in, just a good play. Like, if United went to play 4 at the back, Dorg will be a left back, Cunha will be a left inside 10. So they, it's players that, like, it doesn't matter what system you put them in, they can just go out there and play. And that's what Man United need. Just be good at the sport. That's really it.
Now let's talk about this actual game, man, as we wrap up. So I'm really mad I'm going to miss this game because there's like scheduled late practices now. I thought I was going to be home by like the time the game comes, but I will not. So this is going to be a big one. We've had Europa League finals before, but this has been something that's bigger because of the two teams. I feel like this is like the hate watch Olympics. You got people who want Tottenham win, a lot of people want United to win. I'm stuck in the middle, and this is why I'm stuck in the middle. Let me tell you why. Because I know I'm supposed to technically hate Tottenham. I haven't developed the hate yet. I'm sure I'll get there. Still haven't even seen an Arsenal Tottenham game yet. So I haven't developed yet. But I do know a lot of United fans. I know a lot of them. And a lot of you niggas sent me memes after the PSG loss. So from that moment, also, I don't want United to find their way into the 50 Yokeris conversations. I don't need them winning any more money. So that's why I'm kind of, if I had to pick which one, I'm like, I'm not saying I want Tottenham to win, but it would help me out a little bit. But how do you think this is gonna go? We have some. I think Jeremy Carrick was like, oh well, they have the heritage, they're gonna win. I'm like, it's not like the same thing we said about Real Madrid. Like, who's gonna play well on the field? How do you see those from going down, and what's your prediction for this game?
I think United wins 1-0 or 2-1. I think that United are a different team. And no, City are not the Warriors, because the Warriors did it organically. Yes, they drafted well. They drafted well, and they got lucky with Steph's ankles. City are, what's it called? City's Chat GPT. But
they're the Patriots.
But no, I mean, I just feel United riding a high wave in the Europa League. I feel that there's a lot of experienced final players who played in finals at Man United. Casemiro's been in 7 European finals and hasn't lost one. He's played in World Cups. Bruno's been there before. I don't know why I'm oddly comfortable with United. I haven't really talked about it, really thought about it. I just feel United just understand what's at stake. And with Tottenham is they're so hurt right now. Like they're missing a lot of players. And I think right now, United just understands what has to be done. And if they lose, hey, listen, that's on you. You can't banter me because I don't play for them. I support them. I'm laughing at them with you, okay? That's all I got to say. You lose to Tottenham, I'm laughing at you with them, because why would you? So that's
why I tell myself with the Bears to try to help the losses feel better. That's anything that being a media member has helped me. It has helped me not throw stuff when the Bears lose, because I can't.
Yes. By the way, there is a game I recommend everybody to watch on Friday. So we have Napoli versus Como, and we have who are Lazio? Oh my God, I need to figure out who they're playing on Friday. But it's going to be Napoli, Calgary on Friday, Como, Inter. Now, the reason I bring it up is like there's a point separating the two teams, 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
So let's say if Napoli draws and Inter wins the title. If Napoli wins and Inter wins, Napoli wins the title. So Napoli hasn't won a title since 1989. They recently won one a couple years ago, and this would be insane for them to win this many titles back, like in such close proximity. So it's going to be interesting on Friday for Serie A, because that is one of my favorite leagues for the last 10 years. I grew up watching 90s Serie A, and like to see this league come back to being as insane as it was back in the day, it makes me very happy. The old man in me is happy.
I also want to see that the championship playoff game this weekend to see who gets the last spot in the Premier League next year. Sunderland and who's the other team they playing?
Sheffield United.
Yeah, Sheffield United. I knew begin with that. Yeah, like that's the way they won that game last week. I think that's going to be a good game as well to see. And I'm be paying attention more to the championship next season, because I want to see how Wrexham fares. Because I love the TV show, so I'm tapped in to see how that's going to be with them. In the big boys league now.
Selfishly, we need Sunderland to come back. I know that's a team you've never seen in your life, but Sunderland were like a Barclays Premier League legendary team. We need Sunderland back, and plus they hate Newcastle. We need to bring that beef back. I think we need a lot more northern teams back in the Premier League to like really scout what real beef is like. Like Leeds and United is that's real. I got
the real warfare is like.
Yeah, Leeds United is real smoke. QPR Chelsea, that's like real, just like two Trump families who hate each other. That's what it is.
Catch I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HNB Media and the Barber's Chair Network.